talk about the debt ceiling. This is just a test run. We're just going to go with it. So just let us know that you can hear us and that everything's good. And tonight's guest, we got Ray, who's in here with me at the studio, and we got Tyler Martin on a split screen. And we're having to run it through a mobile phone because we couldn't get the Zoom or Skype or anything to work right, and it was a nightmare. So we'll get it all figured out soon. So, no. Anyway, welcome, Ray. Welcome, Tyler.
Thank you.
So what I wanted to do tonight was sort of have like this debt ceiling pound and kind of discuss it, just about where we're at, where we're going, and so I want to let you start, Ray, and just kind of tell us a little bit of stuff. So here we are. The debt ceiling was passed by the House. The Senate has approved it, and just go with it from there. So
where's the caps?
Where's
the caps?
Absolutely.
No caps. All the money that's dished out, $4 trillion that we could spend more than what we need to be spending. I mean, where does this country stop?
Mm-hmm.
That's the question. And for me, just as a citizen here and just somebody that wants to live in this country, I want to do it without having to pay so much money, And I don't know if y'all noticed here in Catoosa County, our property assessments came out, and basically some of the properties have just doubled, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm over here thinking, does that have anything to do with what just happened? There's a lot of questions in our world that we ask all the time. And basically people want to hang on to what they got. And leaving a debt, I mean, I'm 51 years old, so I don't have much longer to live. Probably a lot of,
whatever
liberals out there.
Come on, man. You got at least 30 years left, at least.
But just think about that, though. I mean, the debt that we're leaving our kids, our grandkids, and everybody out there. And, I've been kind of disappointed with the congressional aspect of a lot of it because, we're hoping we had more people that were going to stand up and say, enough's enough. This is not good for the country. This is not good for my constituents. And that would be good.
Mm-hmm.
But it's getting to the point now where there's so much pressure on these congressional candidates and things of that nature that, I don't know, I think they're just giving,
Right.
Just, I don't know if you want to say selling us out or whatever, but, it's just crazy to me. I don't see anything getting any better. It's just not going to get any better.
We're just kicking the can down the road. That's all we're doing.
That's right.
Well, I'm curious, before we start going into like details, of course, I want to get your take on it, Tyler, but I'm curious as to if, last week, Rand Paul was on a Senate hearing committee talking about the debt ceiling, the debt limit, and he said, why would anyone think that the government would just shut down, or why would anybody think the government couldn't pay their debt to the Federal Reserve when they have record taxes coming in, like all of this crazy spending that they can cut back on? Like, why would anybody in their right mind think that they couldn't pay this debt? And to me, that makes perfect sense, when you think about all the money flowing into the government, but it's all this fear and gaslighting and doom and gloom, like, oh, we're going to shut down the government, we're going to shut everything. Really, do we really think the government's going to shut down if we didn't pass this debt ceiling? So, and that's just my interjection. But Tyler, I'd like to get your take on it, so we can start this out. So the same thing with Ray, the debt ceiling got passed. We're going to go into some detail about it and our opinions and everything. But so give me your overview. What do you think?
So here's what PBS. We'll go with the state-run media. Little Twitter joke there that they got mad about because Elon Musk said that they're state-run media. But they keep saying that it would have been an economic catastrophe, and I've got an article pulled up here, and I'll hit you with the cliff notes. And here's what would happen to the global economy if the U.S. defaults on its debt. The U.S. debt has been long viewed as ultra safe. Feeding the anxiety is the fact that so much financial activity hinges on confidence that America will always pay its financial obligations. Its debt, long viewed as an ultra-safe asset, is a foundation of global commerce built on decades of trust in the United States. A default could shatter the $24 trillion market for treasury debt because it could cause the financial markets to freeze up and ignite an international crisis. So, who this would hurt the debt ceiling is not the United States government. It's not.
Right.
People confuse the entity that it is for the United States government, but it is not. It would hurt the Federal Reserve, the central banks, because that is us repaying them. We're paying them
Right.
our tax dollars. The way our government operates with its budget and everything else, they're borrowing the money in, they're borrowing it in, and then they're sending it to Ukraine and sending it to everybody else. But that's what they're doing. It takes time to get the tax money. You know, they get the tax money once a year. You know, normally every April 15th.
Let's put it over there for me. Sorry.
You're not getting it. Your mother's not getting it.
Huh?
You're not getting your show. What's up?
Oh, we're on right now. Call her back if you tell her. Thank you for the food.
Hey,
You never know what you're going to get on
he
the
said
show.
call you back. He said he's on right now.
Yeah, tell her to go back onto the stream. We're on.
Go back on the screen and do what?
Go back to my page and she can pull it up. We're on. Just scroll until she
Say
sees
he's
it.
on. Go back to the channel and put it on. I don't know what the hell he's doing.
That's live Facebook advice right there.
Yeah, we've really rigged some stuff up here right now.
Yeah, gotta see this good. That's good.
Put
That
it
is
on
working.
TV.
So is the audio
I
clear
don't know
coming
what
from
he's
me?
doing.
Yes.
I believe so, and I cannot see comments right now because we keep dropping out on the computer. So if you see any comments pop up from anybody, just let me know.
I'll see if I can pull up the comments here.
I could try. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Your food's right
we
here.
may have to 86 the comments tonight.
Yeah. All right. So that was a good analysis, Tyler, that you just gave, and I agree with that whole sentiment. Like how it's crazy to think that we wouldn't be able to pay our debt. So here we are. So let's talk a little bit about what we know, right? Well, Congress had a debt ceiling bill that they were trying to work with Biden on for 90 days or so, whatever it was, where Joe Biden wouldn't respond, and then McCarthy goes in, and then they start making these, these bargain things up, which I have the bill. It's like 100 pages, and so here they go. Yes, we're going to get some victories in this if we do it, and the consensus is basically, well, if the Congress doesn't pass this bill, we get nothing, and the Senate is going to pass just an open $4.1 trillion debt bill that they can do whatever they want. Is it correct? We all agree that that's what they said, and so they went into, with Biden, and they passed this thing, and then, of course, now it's a victory. We're doing victory laps for passing the debt ceiling.
Yeah,
Which
everybody's
to me,
patting
it's
themselves on the back.
yeah,
It's kind
kind
of
of an
crazy.
oxymoron. Like how do you celebrate regardless of what you got? And I'll tell you what the news media, what I was reading, and I can't pull it up on the phone at the moment, they were talking about ideological victories. Ideological victories. What does that tell you about what the conservatives got in the debt limit? It's the fact that the Democrats are looking at it like it's a joke. Like, for example, do we really believe that people are going to be drug tested on food stamps and welfare? I mean, what is to stop a federal judge in some state somewhere, Nebraska, that just says this is unconstitutional, and then it puts the entire thing on hold?
Who's going to do it?
sitting-
Who's going to do the drug testing, and who is going to pay for the drug testing?
Exactly. Well, that's included in the debt ceiling bill.
From my understanding on that, they raised the age limit for the benefit, but I guess they took out some of the requirements that was needed to even get on it in the first place. So it was easier for them to get on food stamps. stamps and welfare.
Right.
You know, so that's crazy to me. It's like, are these people looking at the negotiations that's going on back and forth? Are they looking at that and saying, hey, you know, we're asking for this, but we're actually getting this, you know? And then are they telling McCarthy's, you know, staff or whoever, look, you know, we're getting screwed here. You know, something needs to happen. You know, we need to go back in and say, hey, you can't do this.
Right.
But I don't think any of that's even going on. I think the whole Republican Party got played like a fiddle.
It sounds like
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it looks like to me. I mean, because new things are coming out every day. Every time I open something up about the debt ceiling and, you know, the agreements that were made, new stuff's coming out every day.
Mhm.
And it's like, holy crap, you know?
Yeah, we don't even know exactly. Like, for example, Lisa Adams was sharing with us earlier about a specific pipeline in Virginia, West Virginia, a natural gas pipeline that is also uh, in this bill, and that nobody even knows about.
Mm-mm.
So what else is in this bill that we don't know about? And I'm telling you, I've got it pulled up
Well,
right now. It's
Well, you see, all of that is favors to get people on board.
That's it.
That's what's coming out now. That's what you're seeing. And McCarthy, they gave an inch to McCarthy and he took it. And that's the problem. That's the number one problem that I have is this has made Republicans look so weak. You know, they come in being big Billy badasses and everything else. Apologize for the cursing, Ray. And, you know, they come in doing that and saying, we're going to do this. But all it was a game of chicken, and they flinched first. You know?
very true. Very
Let
true.
it ride up to Janet Yellen was saying that it's going to have catastrophic consequences by June 1st. Let it roll. They should have let it roll up till the deadline.
Sure.
Because, like I
Agree with
said, the only people that it hurts is the central bank. Because
Right.
just as much as the United States, and not just the United States governments, but most of the governments of the world rely on these central banks to fund their income. They're like their, you know, credit card without a limit.
Right.
That's what they are. And if you ever notice, all the wars and conflicts we've been in are with countries that do not use central banking programs. They don't have a central bank.
It's true.
That's a good point.
It is a good point. That's something that we need to really think about. Not to mention, I'm trying to put this into the words here, but so when you're talking about the Republicans getting played, so we have a group called the Freedom Caucus, right? Who made McCarthy, and they made McCarthy go through 15 rounds to become the Speaker of the House. And these same Freedom Caucus members, the majority of them, voted against the debt ceiling.
How many were there? Like 6?
I can't remember exactly, and I'm trying to pull that
It's
up.
like 6.
Yes, 6 to 8 of them that were holdouts on the bill.
Right. And then did they finally come around? Is that what it was? Because it was like a 206 to 231 or something like that. I'm trying to pull up some of this stuff. But
the tell here is all Democrats voted yes.
Oh yeah. Well, of course they did.
Because they knew they were getting a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
So Jeffries, man,
oh yeah, Jeffries.
Woo! He was like, yeah, this is a great win, Schumer. Oh, this is a great win for the president. I'm over here going, it sure was. And we got played again. You know, they don't come out and say things like that if Republicans stood their ground and said, look, we're not going to let you, you know, take this from us.
Right.
You know, we can play along a little bit, but we're not going to play along with everything.
And what do y'all think about Byron Donalds? I mean, like, I am so impressed with the man. He held out, voted against it. I've been watching the guy a lot. He's pretty sharp. Matt Gaetz is pretty sharp, you know.
Well,
so
the problem is, you know, I thought our congresswoman was with them, was aligned with them, and it's a disappointment. Like I'm gonna start this with, I'm a big fan of her. I'm a big fan of the MTG. We all are. We helped her to get to where she is in this area of the 14th.
Right.
That's right.
I'm sorry, but I need more than, you know, a 7-minute video that only has about 2 minutes of her explaining what the bill was good for, and it seemed like she didn't even know.
Right.
It
Right.
seemed like she just touching on talking points that was handed to her.
No,
You know,
you're correct.
that's
I
what
mean,
it really bothers me. It bothers me that, you know, and I'm not going to sit here and say this is what happened, but I'm going to paint the optics here. She comes back and goes to Cobb County, to a town hall in Cobb County, and then she's doing stuff with the Chamber of Commerce in Paulding County. I don't
right.
see anything on her calendar or anything to do that I can find. Her calendar is not as public anymore for obvious reasons. I mean, I get why, but I don't know the last time she's been to Catoosa County. I don't know the last time she's been to Whitfield County. It's been a long time.
Right.
And when's the last time she's been to Lafayette?
Well, she was here not too long ago, and she was.
That's
She
what
did.
I was thinking. There was something.
She did town doctor. But you know,
But
my thing was listening to the Cobb County, you know, town hall that she was putting on there. She started off with this courage story, you know, and about Thomas Massey there, and how he stood up, and
Right.
you know, she's kind of painting this picture, but it's really like a smoke screen. For me, I've been in politics for a long, long time, and I can tell when somebody is gaslighting me, and she was definitely gaslighting the crowd there. I mean, I was so disappointed because the thing of it was, I know for a fact a lot of her constituents called. You know,
yeah,
they called her office and they said, please don't vote yes for this.
Right.
And
yeah,
her admission in Cobb County was that she put her trust in two representatives there. And one of them was Thomas Massey and the other one was Jim Jordan. And so I'm over here thinking to myself, whenever I heard her say this, I'm like, so you're putting your trust in two people instead of representing your constituents like you should be. Because I'm not seeing Jim Jordan knocking on doors and putting out signs and
no,
telling people how great you are. You know what I'm saying? I'm not seeing Thomas Massey do any of that either. I'm not
no,
seeing any of them taking any flack for, you know, all the stuff that, you know, anything that she does in there, and you're defending her to the T. And, you know, we put her life on the line a little bit for
Yes.
her, you know, in a couple of cases. And, you know, because we knew the consequences of, you know, her rhetoric, you know, and she's had a lot of death threats and things of that nature. So, you know, we're putting ourselves out there too, because I told her, I said, listen, I'm not going to ask you to do something and not have your back for it, right? But it's almost like she turned her back on all of us here, because
yeah,
I know for a fact we had so many people calling her office and saying, look, please don't pass this, or, you know, vote no. And she just did, you know, and she made a statement that it would be more political, or well, it was more like she could have been political and voted no, but she had the courage to vote yes for it.
but she
And
votes
I'm over here.
no on everything else. She has
Yes.
voted no on everything else. And another thing, I want to finish what I was saying, but the two counties that she came back to are the two counties with the most money in the 14. You know, the two of the highest per capita income.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that's not what the deal is, that she's going to cater to these people, because you got to think of what I'm getting at here is the Republicans in the areas that she has visited since she's come back here are more milquetoast Republicans.
Yes.
They're the what we call
I
Atlanta
agree.
Republicans.
Yes,
And
that's
so
exactly right.
donating, you know, a big majority of her war chest in the state of Georgia. Has she become their puppet? Is she doing what they want her to do?
True. Now, I want to interject and just bring up a couple points. So we brought up Jim Jordan and Massey, which I do agree with you. However, Massey is a pretty smart individual. I've watched a lot of things on Massey. He was at MIT. I believe he's a professor at MIT. According to Marjorie Green and the sources, that they're she was sided with Massey on this because he was trying to propose some sort of a formulaic debt, reduction tool that they were going to put into this thing so that they really are supposed to save money and all these things, right? And I also understand this going back to McCarthy. A lot of people were upset about McCarthy, and Marjorie Greene was one of the ones that we thought would be the Freedom Caucus, but she was the one that was pushing McCarthy. So I've been watching McCarthy a lot. I don't think that he's done a horrible job. I think he's been a pretty decent speaker for the most part, right? For the most part. But you would think that somebody as outspoken as Marjorie and somebody that literally will rally people up to, stand up against, be activists against the system and everything. And then when it comes to something like this, it's like, oh, well, I'm going to vote with the status quo here. We're going to go ahead and do it. And pardon my French, but I was told, and I haven't seen the quote that she said that, well, it's like this. It's like eating a shit sandwich, okay? But you want to have some salad to go with it and some things. So I can understand her mindset to this, okay? But my problem is, so you want to be this outspoken candidate, you want to be the firebrand of the Republican freedom and the Second Amendment, First Amendment, but, I go back to Rand Paul. Rand Paul said, how on earth does anyone think that we're not going to pay our bill? So what does it matter if we just went ahead and said, no, we're not going to pass this bill because we're kicking this can down the curve. It's already going to be what, after 2025, after the next presidential election, the clown show that we have to go through in this country. So I'm having trouble figuring out, like, in listening to her statements about why she's choosing to side this way. Because I cannot believe that anyone would do a victory lap about this.
No.
If I would feel much more or less gaslit if and I'm not saying I disagree with what she's saying, but like she said, look, this is not a victory. This is a war, and we're fighting. But they're happy that they got this.
The Democrats
Yeah, but they retreated.
Yeah, they retreated. Democrats don't fight with inches.
No,
They go miles.
You cannot negotiate with these people.
No,
they will not negotiate with Republicans, but we are expected to negotiate this with Democrats. I mean, this is the kind of thing that we've been fighting about forever.
And look at all the leverage that we lost on the presidential, part of it. I mean, we could have used this. I mean, this is just politics, folks. Sorry about that.
What else do we have?
We always leverage. Look how bad the debt ceiling is, and look how much money you have in your pocket. It ain't nothing.
No.
You're paying more taxes and everything. We always use that as leverage to show the other party is so messed up, and they are. I mean, it's just a fact.
Right.
But now we have that. We don't have that leverage anymore. That leverage was just, given away. So here we are. We're like, now what do we got? We got appropriations bills. Well, okay, or committees. Well, all right.
And who's paying attention to the committees?
But,
I mentioned something about 4 FBI whistleblowers that went up and testified against the freaking FBI, which should be disbanded, which should be broken up into 1,000 pieces. Nobody's listening.
It's simple.
Nobody cares.
It is so simple. Defund the Justice Department. And then you flip that rhetoric back on the Democrats and say, no. This is what you wanted. You wanted defund the police. So
exactly.
We're going to start with the federal police first.
Sure. Which,
and they're like, no, we can't do that. Then that's why you say, well, your voter base wants this.
Exactly.
Want this to happen. So you're going to tell them, no, you're not going to do it?
Fire with fire.
Yeah, but then you get, the McCarthy leadership getting on to Andrew Clyde saying, hey, we're not going to push your pistol brace bill if you don't vote for this. You know what I'm saying?
That made me sick.
And it's in the news. It's out there.
Yeah, it's out there. Here's another thing, Marjorie, if you're listening, why are you not saying anything about this?
Yeah.
Why are you not?
I've not heard the first thing about pistol braces. Not heard the first thing.
You ought to be the first one going into his office and telling him like it is.
I've got a Twitter feed pulled up. I don't see anything about pistol braces.
Nothing. So this tells me something. I mean, I'm sorry, but this really tells me something. I mean, I feel really betrayed. in a way.
I mean, we're in the top 10 as far as the state. We're in the top 10 of gun ownership.
Yeah.
I
Well, there's some
mean,
reason behind that. You know, people in Northwest Georgia, you know, we're the most conservative region in Georgia. I mean, you can look at the voter or the votes that went through, especially after Herschel Walker's last run for Senate. You know, everything up here was dark red, and we vote, and we vote.
That's right.
And not only do we vote, but we go out there and we knock on those doors. You know, we knock on the doors, we talk to people, we make the phone calls, we write the letters out. You know, we do all these things to help these candidates that we believe in.
Right.
You know, especially with the Second Amendment through. I mean, I've knocked on many doors for you,
Oh,
Marjorie.
man, you have. Yeah,
And,
both of you guys have been outstanding over the years in your activism. You know.
It's just crazy. And I'm not understanding it. And I think what would really settle a lot of this is if, and I understand that, you know, she's up there in the swamp. She's having to deal with it. And don't think for 1 minute I'm not praying for her. I am. I pray for her every single day. You can ask my wife. But here we are. I know she's she's under a lot of pressure, a lot of strain. She's went through, you know, her divorce and all that other stuff. There's a lot of things going on in her life. But there's one thing you don't do. You don't turn your back on your constituents.
No. I mean, even people like Stu Peters, which, you know, I like Stu Peters. You know, I don't watch a lot of, but he's wanting to find a challenger for her. You know. Now, before we go any further, this is not a dump on Marjorie Greene. We're simply talking about the truth here, the reality. Right. Doesn't make me change my mind about Marjorie Greene at this moment, okay? Because Ray's saying he's let down. What we're doing is we're trying to get to the bottom of this. We're trying to share this with the constituents because none of us really wanted this. Right. And I'm going to share this story. I'm going to go ahead. It is from the National File. Okay, go ahead, Tyler.
The red flag for me was when all this was going on and they were voting McCarthy in at the first of the year was how she broke from the MAGA Republicans that, you know, they were almost, to me, they still are. And they were willing to hold it up. And it's a small few, and it was a hopeless battle.
But man, wasn't
they were proving a point.
They were proving a point. They made that sucker go 15 rounds. Yeah. Almost a fight broke out on the floor. I watched every second.
And the message was, this is not business as usual. We're not doing this again. I've heard Matt Gaetz say it a million times. He's like, we're done with the way it used to be. This is the way it's going to be done now. You know, we're not going to tolerate this. That's why we sent her up there. Is so she could align herself with people that thought that way.
Exactly.
And would do that.
She was the one that introduced us to Matt Gaetz.
Right.
Yeah. Remember, Matt Gaetz was being charged with underage sex and all this crazy crap, and the media was running just gangbusters on him. And at first, because I'm just a normal person, we get news like everybody else, and I'm like, oh, this is Matt Gaetz. I don't know about this guy. Of course it was gaslit from the media. Sure. But then Matt Gaetz turns out, and he's like, the man, dude, he's like, we're not going to do this. I keep going back to it. If you've never watched the Tim Pool, and I played some of it 2 weeks ago, how he talks about how lobbyism works. It's amazing. This cat is on fire standing up. So, yes,
it really is.
That's why it's such a head scratcher. Like, why isn't Marjorie leading this? Why is she trying?
I couldn't believe. I don't even think she voted McCarthy down one time.
No.
I'm just like,
and we called her office on that too, bro.
Yeah.
Do not vote for this guy. You know, and then that was my first indication when you said that, Tyler. That to me brought back the first thought that I had whenever she did this. You know, it was like when she voted for McCarthy, and I was like, why are you doing this? You know, we didn't send you up there to vote for a rhino. There's so many people that day that lost her support that day. Yeah. You know, and a lot of them are people that, and I know for a fact, some people gave her a lot of money through her campaign that she will not see again. Because
she's in trouble.
Telling y'all, she's in trouble.
She's in big trouble.
Because, listen, my phone, the day all this happened, my phone blew up because all my friends is like, yeah, you're a big Marjorie Greene supporter. What'd you do this for? And they're mad. You know, they're mad. And I got one today. you know, it's what, 3 days later, you know, and I'm over here going, I can't defend it. You know what I'm saying? I can't defend it, and I've got to hold her accountable. We all do. As voters, we got to hold her accountable. And we got to say, hey, listen, your appropriations thing that you got going on now, that you're counting on, you're going to get played on that too. You know, when the Senate says, no, we're not dealing with that. Go, you know, go fly a kite or something.
Yeah.
Then we
But
just got played again.
It's opened the door. It's opened the door. If we get another strong MAGA Republican out of this area, and you guys said it yourself, we're one of the most conservative areas in this part of the country.
And she knows that.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
So she could stand up and say all day long that her constituents back her, but I don't know. I'm getting the same thing. I'm the one that's trying to fence sit. I'm not gonna lie or mince words. I am trying to understand Marjorie Greene, what she's doing. Okay, I kind of understand. She's trying to bring everything together, whatever. But I can't walk anywhere without somebody asking me what in the HE double hockey sticks is Marjorie Greene doing. Because we are.
Same.
She's from the 14th district, most conservative. You would think that we don't want the debt ceiling raised under any circumstances.
I got people out of state calling me. They're messaging me. I mean, people that, you know, I mean, they know her by tracking her on Facebook and things of that nature, and all the things that she's been trying to get, you know, the impeachment proceedings and all that, which is
good.
You know what I'm saying? But let me tell you something. There's 3 things in this life that you don't mess with. You don't mess with my family. That goes to my church family as well. You don't mess with my money, and you don't mess with my guns.
Right.
You know, and when you mess with those 3 things, then I'm going to get involved. I'm going to get active. You know, and then I'm going to bring the groups that are along with me, and we're bringing it. You know, we're going to get active, and we're going to pound the pavement. We're going to knock on the doors that we need to knock on.
Right.
I mean, she's got a chance to make this right. You know what I'm saying? She can say, look, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? She can apologize for this. And she probably won't, but that's okay.
No, she's standing her ground, and I have a theory.
I got respect for that.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so in this scenario, maybe the debt ceiling was going to be raised either way, correct? So it's not like we're.
I mean, it was going to be raised. We know that like nobody has enough balls to say, let's see what happens. I wish we did. I really do.
I do too.
Nobody would do that.
So at the same time, it's like, I don't know. It's just hard to wrap your mind around this, you know.
And we're probably bringing more emphasis than we really ought to. But this is our congressional district, and this is where it counts for us. This is where it matters. And so I mean, and I'm not Marjorie bashing. I'm just pointing out the facts and the truth about it.
No, these are your constituents. These are the people that are active and we are doing things, and we're asking questions. Like, I'm not Joe Schmo down here. Ray's not. You know, we're all 3 have been very active. Like Ray said, and Tyler, we've all been around her. We've all done things for her, supported her. Doesn't mean we're not going to, but yeah, I'm a little confused. I'm scratching my head on this.
Yeah.
And I don't hear many, well, I haven't heard anybody convince me that it was a great idea.
No.
Nobody. Not one person.
No.
So,
and I haven't seen that except for on left-wing media.
We hear
go ahead,
about
Tom.
this bill and coming out, we know that it is just a big mistake for Republicans.
Sure.
It's, you know, just a huge mistake. And the other side of it is, you know, I've been saying it, and I will always vote. So I'll let you know that it's my God-given right to have an input on representation and everything. So I always vote. I always make a point to. But we can't vote our way out of this. We didn't vote these people in that are doing this stuff.
No.
Right.
No.
If you look up the SES, you know, that's during the Jimmy Carter era. These are all these people that are appointed by political positions, and they're still roaming around Washington. A lot of them have been there since the late 70s. You know?
Yeah. Well,
not only that, like, staffers. You know, they're the staffers for Marjorie and all the other ones, and they work at the Capitol and all this. And that is your deep state. That whenever you talk about it, because they've been there, they know the plan. And we didn't vote these people in.
No.
And now with
And a lot of them do their research too, Tyler. You know, they look at history and what happened on the floor. I mean, some of these people, you know, I noticed whenever I went to the state capitol this last time, I'm not going to mention any names, but there was a particular person that was with us there that day, and he was walking this lady through the entire process of what was going on in the house. I mean, this guy knew every little thing that was going to happen there. It ain't even happening. You know what I'm saying? All the processes that goes through. So these people that's been there all these years know the processes. You know, Marjorie is not a, she's not a sophomore, she's not a freshman anymore. You know what I'm saying? She's got her feet wet. She's actually got some power. She's on committees, you know, but she's still got a lot of learning to do in there. And that's why I was talking about Mitchell Horn to one of the county commissioners, and one of the meetings that we had, they were giving him down the road. And I said, listen, he's a freshman. He doesn't know exactly what's going on in there as far as the process. But I said, give him some time. He'll learn the process. And I said, and he'll master it. No problem. You know, because he's a smart man. So there I am. I know that these people are, I mean, they're in their deep. You know what I'm saying? They know what's going to happen. And they're looking at all the stuff that's happened in the past because they've been there for years. And they use that against Republicans, especially people like Marjorie, against her and against other people in Congress that just got there. And they don't know what hit them. You know, it was like they got blindsided. You know, they got blindsided. And I'm over here going, and don't get me wrong. I'm no economic, you know, scholar, nothing like that. But I look at my paycheck. I look at how many bills I have. I look at all my taxes that I'm paying, and there's no way that this deal was a good deal.
no.
You know?
How's your grocery bill, Ray? How's your grocery bill? You
Oh,
know?
let's don't even talk about the grocery bill,
Yeah.
bro. I mean, you can't, if you want to eat healthy, you can't eat healthy. You can't. You gotta, I mean, romaine noodles, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I feel like I'm back in college where whenever I went to college, that's what I lived on, you know, because I had a part-time job just enough to buy my food and things of that nature. And, you know, and I just barely got by. But I was like, I got to do this. I got to get my education. So,
I mean, what are we teaching? What are we teaching our youth and our American families by the debt ceiling in the first place? It's okay to just continue to borrow money that you can't afford to pay back, right?
Well,
sure.
that's
So-
why we have inflation in the first place.
Sure,
That's right.
inflation. And you go to the store and you're at the register, and what's the first two things they ask you? Would you like to round up your change and donate, or you can save 15% on everything you have right now if you get a line of credit with us? So this whole debt-based system is nothing but credit for money that we can't back.
Right.
And turn around and charge us 30-40% interest rates. I mean, this is not a way that you run things. You
No.
don't run your house like this. You don't.
Slaves
It's
are
ridiculous.
beholden to the master. Dave Ramsey says it all the time
Yep.
when he talks about credit cards and everything. And you got to think, all these credit cards come from certain companies that are families that have been pretty much world global royalty this whole
Absolutely
entire time.
correct.
So it's
That's
a
right.
way that they promote this consumerism, just like that new Apple virtual reality thing. That's what it's like $3,000 or something like
Oh,
that.
the headphones? Yeah. It's
you know,
insane.
and
People are mocking it for the price.
yeah, but people are going to buy it. You best believe it.
Well, same thing with vehicles. You know, the vehicles
Yeah.
just keep going up and up in price, but people will go out and they'll spend, a house payment on a vehicle. And I'm not knocking people to do it. You're free to do whatever you want. But what kind of world are we living in? You know, we're outpricing ourselves in everything.
Yeah.
Sure.
And of course, you know, that's the global plan ESG. We'll own
Where
nothing and be happy.
where
You know,
does
this is
all
all
this
just
money
happened here.
go?
Yeah.
Where does the money
Yeah.
go?
That's what I want to
question.
know. You know, and that's the thing. They're using our taxes. You know, they're gathering up their revenue, right, which is taxes, and we got members of Congress that could have put something in there to say no more grants for the president. We're trying to reduce, you know, how much spending that we do. And then I noticed something, I posted on Facebook a couple of days ago about the railroad, how President Biden just granted them I think it was like $500, $800 million,
Oh yeah.
and I'm over here going,
Well, I mean,
for
my
what?
God, what have we done? Look at Ukraine. What are we up to?
Yeah, oh my
$35 billion.
goodness, dude. Yeah.
We sent $500 million
But
to the Horn of Africa
real
for
quick on
weather.
the railroad. Real quick on the railroad.
Yeah.
I mean, are they going to take that money and fix the issues that we had, like in Palestine, Ohio,
They're going
and
to
all
fix
the
the
derailments that
tracks.
we're having? Yeah.
No,
No. Highly unlikely.
I mean, that's the thing. That's the issue. I mean, instead of them getting with the National Transportation Board and everything and saying, hey, we're going to give you this money so you can make the tracks safer, or at least look after, some of the regulatory things that they have on these train companies, what are they doing with it? They're just throwing it out the window.
Hey, they could allot, $500,000, hire a private investigator to find out where the ammonium nitrate went.
Right. Yeah.
Because evidently it's just a bunch of it got stolen, and that was yesterday. We're focused on something else today.
Right.
What?
It's because they knew where it went. It's in Fed hands. I assure you.
That's
It's going to
right.
be the next crisis. You
I'm
just
telling
wait and
you,
see.
boys, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. Well,
Yeah, we're doomed. But hey, we're going to keep on fighting. It don't matter.
so I do want to get to this article real quick. Now, this is from the National File. I have been told that the National File is government, subsidized paper and all this, but I want to get to this for a very specific comment. This is a little bit more about Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh,
All right.
Oh, yeah.
It says, the headline says treachery. MTG says lawmakers who don't back Biden McCarthy debt deal live in conservative fantasy land.
Yes, I heard that
Yeah.
interview.
So I'm just going to read this a little bit. This is from June the 1st, and take it as you will. Marjorie Taylor Greene has once again shown her true colors, who was once revered by many within the MAGA base because people believed she would take on and fight for important issues, told reporters after Thursday's debt ceiling vote that she doesn't live in conservative fantasy land. Worse, Greene called her fellow GOP colleagues who stood with their constituents and voted against the bill unsuccessful members of Congress. Greene then laid into her GOP colleagues. Greene said that the GOP members of Congress who voted against the debt ceiling bill do not understand how to be successful. So it goes on a little bit, and she's got a video quote which we can't play right now. But
yeah, she said she lived in reality, not conservative fantasy land.
Yeah.
there was another quote that she had said. I can't find it here, but apparently she had said that she could turn the MAGA base against the Trumpers against each other or whatever. And I can't quote it here, but I read it. I have it somewhere. It's probably on my phone.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Glenn works for Right Side. Let's see.
I mean, the
Anyway,
thing about it is, though, like the Trumpers, the people that are ultimately pro-Trump, they don't care about Marjorie. They're like, hey, somebody on the same team. Oh, now she's not on our team. They're not going to care.
Yeah, no big deal.
Trump's going to pick
absolutely.
somebody else in this neck of the woods, and that's who they're going to vote for.
Well,
That's just the way it'll be.
Tyler, are you a state delegate?
No,
Okay,
I'm not
so
going to state.
State delegation is going on this weekend, folks, right? So Marjorie's going to be there, and then Trump's going to be there Saturday, right? So, I'm kind of wondering what the response, because when Brian Kemp got up there, the last state convention, he got booed so bad. I felt sorry for his family, but I'm wondering if Marjorie's going to get booed too, because, and I'll just be honest with you, I was just waiting. And I probably shouldn't say this too loud, but I'm just going to put it like this. Democrats been trying to get rid of Marjorie Greene for a long, long time, okay? If they were smart about doing that, all they would have had to do was tell Biden, you need to thank Marjorie too whenever you thank McCarthy in her speech.
Oh,
and she would be done.
You have a point.
She would be done.
And I have this theory too, and this is the point I was trying to make a little earlier, but maybe I'm wondering if, because Greene went so hard for McCarthy, right? Went those 15 rounds, and maybe she just feels like that if she doesn't back McCarthy and she doesn't get some sort of successful things with McCarthy. Like she's really going to look like this crazy loser because McCarthy's fledgling and all this, and maybe that's what this is. Like, you think that she's trying to save face because she went for McCarthy so hard?
Well, you don't double down on something like that. I mean, I don't want to say it like you're doubling down on stupid, because Marjorie is not a stupid person.
no.
She's very, very smart. But at the same time, you never, ever go against your constituents.
Yeah.
You don't. You just
Yeah,
don't.
that's what I go back to every time when you think back. Well, Lord, we've had a year. Have we
That's
not?
what
Every
we've
single
been
week.
against the
But-
whole time. You think
Yes.
that Nancy Pelosi's constituents, you think she does what they want? No. I mean, half of them are homeless now.
Right.
Half of them have nice campers down by the beach. You know,
Exactly.
they lost their nice townhomes and now they're in campers by the beach. Do you think they like her? They're trashing her house every chance they get.
Yes.
I would hate for the 14th to become that way for Marjorie.
Yeah.
Right. Because there's some crazy people in the MAGA crowd. We have some
Yeah.
of that far right fringe people.
We've seen them. We know them.
Yeah.
And furthermore, if the debt ceiling was going to be passed either way, and none of this matters, and we just needed to get our little victories in when we could and fight inch by inch. If it's that bad, if things are that dire, then what does that tell you about the future of our government? If we're in that bad a shape that we just got to get this to 2025 so we can move on to the next, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm
wondering if it wasn't a deal to keep her committees.
Maybe so, because I mean, obviously the pistol brace was a deal, and it's out. I mean,
they're actually talking about bringing it on the floor again, but this is still talk. Until it happens.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm still very leery of it.
Right.
But we were talking too about our homes and our values and things of that nature. I've got a friend that he got his assessment on his property and his home, and he's looking at it and he said, Ray, he just built this house. I think he's got 3 acres of property, right? So he just built this house. He built it just like he wanted it. I mean, this is every man's dream. Build a house like you want it for you and your family. You can see the future of your family growing up in this home, on this property, and everything else that goes along with it. And he's looking at the assessments and wondering how much his property tax is actually going to be, right? And he's looking at that because it's showing him how much it's going to be. And he's like, I may have to sell my house because I can't afford the taxes on it. You know what I'm saying? But what they want you to do, and this is part of Marxism, right? They want to put you in a small footprint of a house,
Right.
with a small greenhouse,
That you
footprint.
don't even own.
Yeah, that you don't even own, and that's where they want you. And this is like the Republicans are just going right along with it.
Feeding right
You need more of that? Here, let me give you some
That's what
more.
I'm saying.
Let me give you some more of them sides. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not saying
Because
I'm ever
it's a
gonna give up.
mode of control for them.
Sure.
That's the thing. Like, you can't trust wholeheartedly in Republicans either, because they're fighting for the control just like the Democrats are.
Sure.
The pendulum is leaning more left right now, and it's got more sway with them. I think the public is more right than anybody cares to admit. But they don't trust the Republicans either, because they know the game they play. It's the same game. It's just that this side's winning right now.
Well, and I want to add to that, because this is what I firmly believe in. I want the Republicans, conservatives to be successful and all these things. I get the conversation about, okay, we need to be successful. But what happened? How successful were the Jews, after their guns were taken away from them? They were loaded up in train cars and taken to concentration camps, At some point, when you continue to look at history and you go back and you realize that, yes, sometimes you have to draw that line in the sand regardless of where your life ends up. And you have to stand on it, okay? And I just don't see, I'm not buying this whole thing about being successful, because if it doesn't matter anyway, and the debt ceiling is going to be passed, and nobody's listening, Rand Paul says, hey, we can still pay our bills, but we did it anyway. Where are these Republicans? Why are they not standing up? I don't believe that Matt
Because they're
Gaetz
not on our side.
the Freedom
Yeah.
Caucus.
Those
Caucus are very
6 to
successful in
8.
my eyes.
Those 6
Yeah.
8 are the only ones on our side. They're the only ones for the people. Because
Right.
I've seen what Republican success looks like. It looks like 2016 to 2018 when we had all chambers
Yes.
of government
Every
and nothing happened
single
because
form.
they were too spiteful about Trump winning. They were too
Yeah.
spiteful. They
Yes.
already just knew Clinton was going to win and Trump won, and they were too spiteful, and they couldn't even do business that I heard for 10 freaking years how they were going to do away with Obamacare.
Exactly.
Happened. It never happened.
Oh, that was dumped down the memory hole. You just brought up something people forgot.
Yeah, I didn't forget.
And
Go on.
and I knew then, I'm like, it doesn't matter if the Republicans gain control of the House. We're not going to get the NFA repealed. A shooting
Right.
happened, so they dropped the silencer bill. And I'm like,
Yep.
the shooter didn't use a silencer.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't use a suppressor. What does that have to do with anything? If a suppressor is not attached to a gun, then it has no use or purpose.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and after Las Vegas, bump stops.
Yeah, the
bump
bump
stops are
stops.
gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Which
we're
the
going to
Supreme
That was
Court
President
Well,
Trump.
President Trump.
Yeah,
We'll just give them this one
exactly.
little victory so that they can they'll leave it alone. No, you don't give an inch anymore.
Nothing.
We not learned
The
anything.
Supreme
You
Court
cannot give.
reached down and found their balls, and they turned it back on Trump. And
Yeah.
now the ATF's trying to get it thrown back in. They did a ruling on it that they're fighting in court right now, and so
Right.
we can't trust Congress to do that with the pistol braces, even though they should be upset that all of a sudden around 10 million people are going to be potential felons if they just let this ride.
And that's why we've been so hardcore about SAPA here in Georgia.
SAPA in Georgia.
You know.
Second Amendment Preservation Act.
Colt Moore, thank you.
Oh,
And I heard that Mitchell Horner may be taking up that bill next session.
that's great.
So in the House.
You know, and give these freshmen a chance. I'm telling you, we've got some good blood going in here.
We got some good.
And they are standing up. You know, a lot of people were questioning Colt Moore. Why is he doing this? Why is he standing up against it? You know what? I like to see him stand up against it. Even if he had no chance, he's standing up and letting people know where he stands.
That's right. He
No.
voted no on the budget.
Yeah. He's going.
He was the only one in the Senate that did, and I was there that day when he did,
And it was great.
awesome.
It was great. I want to see people go against that grain, you know? And
Yes.
I know some people, I don't know why he does this. It's a waste of time. I don't believe it's a waste of
It's
time.
not.
I don't believe it.
This is where it gets back to it's not going to be business as
As
usual. You know,
Yeah.
that's why you're seeing such a influx of like the GOP. You know, like Chattooga County and Catoosa and Walker. How the GOP has just come together and got nothing but conservatives in it. Even where Brian Kemp won't even show up in the state
Let's talk
convention.
about that. So
Yeah.
here you have Donald Trump coming,
Yeah,
Brian Kemp, Brad Raffensperger, no showing up to their own Republican convention, but yet both of them was at different Bilderberg groups and different think tanks about how they can strengthen the election process. Meanwhile, we're sitting here and like you said on your show the other night, we've talked about before, nothing has changed in our election process.
no.
Nothing. The only thing
Yeah,
that
but
I
think
see
about it.
is changed is they're saying, well, ChatGPT will probably be in charge of the next election.
Yeah.
Well, that makes me feel
Strengthen
great.
it how? How
Yeah.
strengthen it for who? That's what you
Right.
got to think of. They may be strengthening it, but it may not be for us, the voters.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Well, that's why the state delegation that's coming up this weekend
Yes.
is full of patriots.
Mhm.
And like the state delegation or the state convention that we had last time, I met a lot of patriots there, and I did a lot of networking with the Second Amendment people that were there. And they said that was a record-breaking turnout that they'd ever had. They hadn't had that many people in like ever. So there's a change, and Brian Kemp knows there's a change coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing, y'all. Our congresswoman, she needs to understand that too.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And we're not going to lay down and let people just run over us.
Yes.
No.
And what did we
This is
say
not how we do it.
from the beginning, right? Now that people are paying attention, right?
Yeah.
Because before we were just living our life and we were doing our thing. And now we're paying attention. We're watching all of this stuff in real time. And like, I think this makes a lot of establishment people, a lot of people uncomfortable because this whole game has been run in this room. And now all these outsiders like me and you and Tyler and other people, we're looking at it. We're like saying, no, you don't understand. Like, we're going to question this.
Sure.
Well,
No, and we
I
do
can't just
question.
live my life anymore. I can't.
Right.
You
Yes.
can't. You want to
I
do
can't do it.
Firearms that I had before I lost them in a boating accident would make me a felon right now.
exactly.
Right.
You know, and like my vehicles that I have that are older, the EPA wants to do away with them. They don't think I should be able to own them because they're not climate friendly.
Oh yeah. And another thing, are you getting paid for any of this?
Absolutely not.
Tyler, are you getting paid for any of this?
No, it's actually the
No,
opposite for me. I'm losing money on this.
Yes.
I think so too. So I'm not getting paid either. So there's 3 guys that are sitting here digging into this stuff, just talking, that are not controlled by anybody, any group, anything. And this is the fear. We're up here doing this because we're paying attention. Like Tyler said, we have to pay attention.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
every
I think
hobby
that
I
scares
have
the crap out of
affected by government.
Yeah.
5 years ago it wasn't.
Right.
I could go deep into my hobbies and not have to worry about government. But now, it's everywhere you look. You can't even watch your TV show anymore without an agenda being forced in your face. But there's no narrative. There's no agenda.
Yeah. Oh, no agenda.
No,
No
nothing
Target with what crotch tucking bathing suits and Bud Light catering to children by pansexual whatever, and don't think that's not affecting us. I mean,
It's just Marxism. That's all it is.
It's Marxism.
Oh yeah.
That's all it is. And it affects everybody. That's what's crazy about it. But people are not, I'm hoping that people are waking up now.
Oh yeah.
And, and that's the thing too. We are sharing information and trying to get people active. I had a guy at the county convention, or actually it was the district convention. He hit me up. He said, hey, we're going to start a 2A movement within our group. And I was just wondering what it's going to take to get gun owners to get out and vote. And I said, well, I can tell you this, as a gun owner and knowing gun owners and talking to gun owners and loving gun owners like I do, I said they trust their firearms more than they trust their vote. So, they're expecting anything at any time to happen. They're always ready. They're never giving up. But the thing of it is, they put their faith more in their firearms than they do their vote nowadays, because it's just like things like we're seeing. People that we vote for do not do the things that they say they're going to do when they get out on the campaign trail, and then they turn your back on them. These people have been discouraged for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And you can't blame them. And they're like, done with politics. I'm just going to wait till it all goes south, and then, the lead's going to start flying,
I cannot tell you how many times I've heard that sentiment, even at rallies that I go to, where people are like, I'm done with it. I'm done with it. And here we are. We're still cheerleading like that's our right. We've got to vote. We're going to vote,
Yeah.
But can you blame them?
No.
Well,
but the thing of it is, we want to try to get it before it goes to the shooting. You know what I'm saying? That's why we got to continue to press good, hardcore, conservative people across the finish line. Get them in there. Get them enacting some bills that are pro-gun and pro-freedom and pro-liberty and things of that nature. That's what our job is, really. That and to inform people, right? Tyler, I'm sorry I cut you off. But.
No, you're good. So here's the thing too, like when COVID happened and the government had control, and mind you, this was during when Trump had it in control, and we had the summer of brotherly love go down. All-time gun set record sales.
Yep.
You had people in California lined up. Mind you, California was locked down, lined up out to the streets to buy a gun. Didn't matter what gun it was. Why is that? Why were they going to buy guns? Why did they feel like they needed guns? People that probably had no business owning a gun because they have no concept of gun safety or anything of that nature. They were calling podcasters like Joe Rogan saying, hey, I need to buy a gun from you. He's like, you're not buying one of my guns. And they're like, where can I get a gun? Then they're mad because California has a mandatory 3 to 5 day wait. So they go to buy a gun because all this is going down, and their own law is biting them in the butt. So that
Yeah,
tells you
you
right
vote for
there,
these
like
people.
you're voting for these people to disarm you, and that's what they want. They want crime in the big city because
Sure.
it's effective right now because it's driving people out of these cities.
And not
California
only
doesn't
that,
care
but
that they're
it's
losing people.
raising the mass casualties and the
Oh
mass
yeah,
shootings,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And if they can get that, but they want to get all that on record, right?
Oh yeah.
They want to make a record of that. Look at all the mass shootings that we've had,
well yeah.
and a lot of it's gang on gang violence, you
Oh
know.
boy.
Well, it goes
So
back to what Tim Pool said too, and I really agree with it. The 15-minute cities are not going to be New York and Los Angeles and Austin, Texas, or any of that.
right,
It's not. It's going to be here. They're pushing
yep,
them out of the big cities, and they're all coming here. There's nowhere to build in these cities.
Exactly.
You know, everything that can be built has been built.
and it goes up.
Manpower, yeah,
Or
but you
yeah.
can only go up so far.
Well,
Yep,
yeah. Or what do you do to a city? You destroy it from the inside out until the value of the land is just
Yeah,
pennies on the dollar, and then you have
Detroit.
these large corporations that come right in and they swoop up every bit of
yeah,
land.
Yeah,
When it's
look at Detroit.
uninhabitable, look at each other. Yeah, all of these places, and then the corporations, the Black Rocks and State Streets, they own this land and they do whatever they want with it. And then what do? Turn into rental properties where you can't buy this stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
yep.
Well,
And
look
I
at
was
Detroit now.
just up. Go ahead, Tom.
If you look at Detroit now, it's a Muslim safe haven.
Yeah.
They have
Yep.
armed militia of Muslims living there. It's a safe haven. Like if you went there, if you were a soldier coming back from Afghanistan or Iraq and went there, you'd be like, I don't feel like I'm in the United States anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
it's quite they're not on a terrorist watch list that we know of.
No,
The
no,
FBI
you
is
are,
not watching them and looking into them. Yeah.
but you're on a list.
I think I made a
Yeah, oh
list
yeah.
of two myself. But
They
y'all,
keep telling
I
me
went.
I'm on a watch list, but I've not got my watch yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but I went up to Maine a couple of weeks ago, and it was an 18-hour drive up there. I was going up there to pick up the CNC machine for my business. So everybody's been down I-59 going towards Alabama, right?
Mhm.
In that right-hand lane, it's like
Oh yeah,
to do.
been that way for 25
Yes.
years.
Well, let me tell you something. I will take that road any single day of the week after driving up there in the north because it's not it's kaboom, 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 kaboom. I mean, it was so bad. The roads were so bad up there. I mean, it's just like it was incredible. I was dreading it because I pulled a trailer back behind my truck, right, that I rented, and I was going to put the machine in the trailer. But once I got up there, I said, "There's no way in the world I'm going to put this machine on this trailer because they will not be anything left of the trailer by the time I get it home."
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I had to load it up in the back of that truck and then carry the trailer back while paying all the tolls for the trailer and the truck. You know, yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts. And, oh,
But that's northern states for you, right?
sure.
Yeah.
Out west, I mean, I was in California 20 years ago, and that's the worst roads I've ever seen, and that was back in like 2001.
Yeah.
But
But where's all this money going? You know, and that's a perfect, I guess, a perfect way of looking at it too. If you're trying to compare the two with the budget and these tolls that these people are paying,
yes,
where's that money going? It's supposed to be going towards the roads, you know,
Right.
to pay for that
Nah.
stretch. But it ain't. So where is it going?
exactly.
There we go.
Governor's
That's how we
mansion
tied it.
improvements,
Right.
different chambers for the house improvements. That's where it's going.
Yep.
Parks named after people.
Oh yes. So we've got about 10 minutes left. We're going to shut it off at 11. Real quick, I just want to just do a shout out here. I posted 2 days ago. There is a very, very, very important documentary out there called The Great Awakening, and it's now being false fact checked by independent fact checkers, which I just saw here. And so that means you got to watch it. Okay.
Yep.
And I'm only a little over an hour into it, and it's one of the most breathtaking documentaries I've seen since my life was changed back in 2006. All right, so I'm really going to be pushing this video, and I'm telling you now, if you're hanging out with us this long, you have got to watch this video. If it doesn't work on the link, I will continue to share the link so that it's all over Rumble. You have got to watch it. Everything we're talking about here is in this video,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it's a complete enlightenment, and I hope these guys are watching it. I hope everybody is freaking watching this, but you've got to watch The Great Awakening.
I'm gonna sit down
is a,
and watch it this weekend.
I'm
And
telling
I
you,
watched it, and it
You've
is.
watched the whole
I watched the whole thing,
See,
and
you're
it's
further than I am.
fantastic. And I red pilled a coworker today,
Mhm.
or not today, but yesterday. I said, "Go home and watch this," because he didn't know anything about Marxism. Never
No,
even heard
people
the
don't.
word
They
Marxism.
don't get it.
Yes.
They don't.
If
They
you're
don't
watching it,
understand that
share it.
these organizations like NAACP were founded by Marxists,
Yep.
by the
Black
United
Lives Matter.
States
Black Lives Matter.
Marxist Party.
Yep.
What is it? And Antifa, the list goes on and on and on.
Sure.
Southern Poverty Law Center, all of these places. And if you need a link, all you gotta do is reach out to me. I'm telling you how serious I am about this. I'm planning on doing a movie night here in Lafayette at Joe Stock Park very soon, where I've got a blow up projector screen, and I'm going to show this movie right on the lawn, and I'm going to try to make it a Patriot night, because everybody, this should be shown in schools. These idiots that have fact checked it are, oh my God, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I mean,
It didn't take long for them to do it.
it says independent fact checkers say this information has no basis in fact. I'm like, oh my God, that's the crazy. Anyway, but I'm going to shut up about it, but we've got to get this documentary out. It is huge.
It's huge. It's good. It's
So,
very
guys,
good.
like I said, we got about 8 minutes left. We'll cover anything that y'all want to cover for the next few minutes.
We'll probably go over comments or whatever.
We can.
And that's what
Got
my
a
phone
bunch.
is there for. So
All right, well,
you
we're
take it
going
over
to
there.
look at some comments. I won't be able to read them all. Jonathan Garcia, thank you so much for that rocky start, helping us out, because, boy, oh boy, this
Yeah.
is, we worked on this thing an hour and a half trying to get it to work. We are going to get this to work. Brian Queen, I can see all y'all. Thank you, sir. Jonathan, this is farting in the bathtub and being laughing at the bubbles. Yeah. Lisa Adams, Mountain Valley Pipeline. That is something that hopefully we will be covering soon. That was a part of this debt ceiling bill that we're going to look at. Thank you, James Waycase, for watching. James Waycase, watching politicians is like watching WWE wrestling. They all buddies behind closed doors. Absolutely. Jennifer, thank you for watching, and good luck this Saturday. Ronald, thank you. Jennifer, as if the debt ceiling vote wasn't bad enough, she backtracks on the January 6th videos.
Yes,
Now,
that was another issue with
Ba-
that.
Barely heard about this, so tell us what you know, because I only heard a little bit.
The whole time she's been saying we need to get this video out. We need to get this video out. You know, that's been her whole, almost her campaign, right? We need to stand. Now she's saying that it's her national security risk. If they let it out.
Really?
Yes.
Tyler, have you heard this?
Yeah, I was trying not to do a gang up, beat up of her because there's so much that we can do, but it's like, she's becoming McCarthy. I mean, that's the only way I can put it. Like,
Wow.
she knows that he's the gatekeeper to the tapes, and he gave them to Tucker, and look at what happened to Tucker.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
I hope that Fox didn't seize them from him, because we don't know what happened. There was a hostile
True.
takeover with him, that they come and took everything and pretty much stripped his home studio.
Mhm.
And you could tell it by his Twitter video the other night.
And I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's good. It's not long. It's just basically like one of his opening monologues that he did on Fox, but it's really good. It's great to see him again.
Yeah, I've got
and
70 million views already.
Yeah,
That was earlier today. 70 million views,
yeah,
y'all.
takes
Yeah.
Fox months to get that.
Yeah, I like quit
Yeah.
Fox after they got rid of him.
Now, I
Oh,
will tell
yeah,
you,
I have
adding to this January 6th, I listened to one of my normals this morning talking about how there was some video footage released of Nancy Pelosi during the January 6th. You remember they showed the video of Nancy Pelosi going down on these dark hallways and trying to get out of the Capitol because her life was in danger. Well, it turns out that the security camera footage shows how they're just walking down corridors and being let open, security guards opening doors.
Yeah,
But her daughter was there the entire time filming from like every angle, trying to make it look like that they were in a mad dash. I mean, this is the clown world we live in. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I
oh
think I
Lord.
posted
Screens.
something about it. Let me see. I thought I posted it today on the nurac.org website, the update that I do. Yeah,
Yes.
right here. Breaking undercover video of Nancy Pelosi's daughter, Alexandra,
Yeah.
discussing J6, where they discuss how J6ers can't get fair trial in D.C. The media overhyped it. Need a new war to distract Americans. JC had no guns. J6 had no guns, no plans, just people taking selfies, and no actual, let me load it here, insurrection. That is something that she discussed on here, and it's actually a video that you can go and watch of her doing this.
Wow. You know what? When I get off here, I'm going to nurac.org and I'm going to watch that video, and you should too.
Yes.
All right,
I try
Jennifer Tudor.
to
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
No, it's good. I go. It's my daily. I was out on the river earlier today, so I did.
Yeah.
I've been out, but I'm telling you, that's my daily. Right
Yeah.
there.
If you want to know what's going on in the news and
Yes.
everything else, and you've lost track of Fox and CNN, whoever you were looking at, go there. You will find all kinds of great information.
Yes, sir. All right, Jennifer Tudor. Groceries, taxes, gas, power bills don't faze them, so they don't care. Amen. Had that same conversation today. Floating down the river, we went kayaking with a few of my buddies, and there's these huge houses being built over in, Chatsworth, Tony Varnell, and I'm like, man, wouldn't it be awesome not to have to worry about, where the money was coming to get the bills paid?
Yeah.
All the smoke in New York. Yes, we'll have to save that one for later. Or the 85,000 missing immigrant kids. And the story released this past week, what, about 30 children missing in is it Pittsburgh, I believe, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird stuff going on
Yeah.
there,
Well, there should be, right? Because we've got all these people coming in from the Mexico or Mexican border with the cartels that's taking these kids, selling their organs and
Right.
everything else,
Jennifer Tudor, she made the Fantasyland remark twice lately. Seems like she might be gaslighting her voters to me. Jennifer, I know that some people don't like National File. I wanted to share it. You take it as it comes, but I saw the quote and there's a video, and I'm like, I don't get it. It does sound like it. There's another quote that I said, and I can't provide it here now, where she's basically saying she could turn the MAGA voters away. I'm like, it's crazy. For her, and Lisa Adams, for her to say that her district backs her decision. Amen. I think we covered that. Jennifer Tudor, she doesn't talk to many of us anymore, so she wouldn't know. Lisa, I'm still stuck on the pipeline in the bill. Thank you. We will be covering that soon, very soon. Lisa, Jennifer Tudor, I spoke to Justin the morning after, but not since. So
Please share with us what he said. You don't have to do it in public, but if you don't care to hit us with a group chat, maybe the four of us, me, you,
sure,
Ray, and Roy on there. But
yeah,
please
Lisa,
let us know what he said.
absolutely. We'd love to hear it. We'd love to hear it. In fact, I have heard some, so I'll leave it at that. But
I'm just going to say this: anything that I talk to you about anybody, it's confidential.
Yeah.
It's just like if I'm talking to you or Tyler or anybody else. If it's confidential, I will not let it out.
Yeah.
I promise you.
Yeah.
I'll do the same
if it's something
thing, but
like that, but
yeah, if Lisa wants to do it, that's fine with me. But
I'd like to hear the officials of it. Like if it's something that that's the official hearsay
right.
or whatnot.
Let's see, Jennifer. Now that I'm awake to his stance, I don't care to talk to him. I got you, Jennifer. Colton votes no because he actually reads the bills.
He does.
Woo!
I know that for a fact.
That's a victory lap. Not a debt ceiling, but a guy who will stand up and read the bills. Absolutely, Jennifer. And they mock him for reading them. Girl, I wish we would have had you on here tonight. We're gonna get this thing fixed soon. So, Joanna, thank you for showing up.
Hey, Joanna.
All right. Want to see that documentary? I will get it to you. All right. Let's see. That's where I seen it. Gray Stoner on your not your average citizen.org. All right, all right. Well, listen, guys, I know we had a rocky start, so just to let everybody know, I will be editing this for the beginning, and we're going to post this to YouTube, and we're going to post this to Rumble. This is a really good live stream. This is your constituents, the people that are out here fighting. These guys took the time out of their evening to come on here so we could all just talk. And hopefully we can get this to Marjorie Green, and we can get this out, because this is what people are coming up to us and saying.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
This is what's being talked about in homes and in houses and at the water cooler, you know.
That's right.
So
It's definitely the water cooler,
you ain't
y'all.
kidding. And it doesn't, like I said, we're not piling here. We're talking truth. you know.
Trying to help her understand, if she don't already know, what's going on in her district amongst people.
That's right.
Amongst, other, you know, I guess, like-minded conservatives. And, we're getting inundated with phone calls. And I mean, I feel like I work for constituent services at some point in time,
Where did this all start, guys? It was we didn't know each other.
Yeah.
And we all started at the same time. Tyler was the first one to just jump out there. And now we're going on years of knowing each other.
Yes.
And years of working with each other here.
And growing.
Marjorie Green was all the way through it. And to me, she should be the queen of the Freedom Caucus.
That's
And
right.
it's turning out she's McCarthy's sidekick.
Yeah.
And saying that if you go against this, you're unsuccessful. We don't understand it.
Nope. Don't understand.
As far as that goes, I should just give up everything I'm doing because I'm unsuccessful. I can't even get a computer to work. So is that what the message we're giving out here?
No, the message is that you're persistent and you keep doing what you got to do to make things happen, Roy. That's the message. You never give up. You never quit. You never say die.
No.
You keep that persistent attitude, and that's what we do. That's why we get things done, and we're never going to give up. Till the day we draw our last breath, we're going to continue to fight for y'all, and for our families and everybody else out there. We want to make sure that everybody's informed. I know on a personal level that Jennifer and Tyler and Roy here,
Jackie, Joanna,
yes,
all so many people. Denise Burns.
Yes.
The list could go on and on and on.
But these people care about what's going on around you, and they want nothing but the best for you. Mm-hmm. So, because if it don't work for me, it's not going to work for you. Right?
Everybody's in agreement. We're tired of the way things are going to go. So how can you be upset if you're tired of the way things go, but then you want to keep doing the same thing over and over? You don't want to accept that things are going to change, right?
You got to crack a few eggs.
I know. Tyler, you got the last word, brother.
Well, I'll just state this for Marjorie. It makes it very hard to defend you when I don't understand what you're doing and what's going on, and you're not clarifying these things, and you have multiple modes. You used to post, pretty much videos of everything you were doing and what was going on, and that's kind of dried up and stopped. And I get that you're busy, but you're not, you got another year. The election cycle for you starts back up next year, and it's not looking so good. And I don't know how we're going to be able to defend you or help you get back there, especially if another MAGA person, which in this area of the country, we're probably going to have 5 or 6 of them come up against you in this next run, especially with the state of things are. And I mean, we need some clarification. We need some movement on stuff, because you can't declare yourself a successful person in Congress either, because I've not seen any of your bills passed.
Right.
I'm not seeing you bring anything to the table that we like to see, like talking about the arm brace ruling, like actually playing hardball on that. Just like Jennifer said about the J6 tapes. Like, I could sit here and go on and pick it apart, but I'm not seeing the good coming out that you are working on now that circumvents this other stuff to say, hey, this is the greater good that I'm working on. I'm not seeing that. There's no angle here. Because McCarthy's not the future, he's the past. He just doesn't know it yet. He needs to step aside.
And don't think for a second that we, the people, are not very grateful for these ideological things that you're standing on, right? But just know that the news media and the perception from the government is that everything we got in this debt ceiling bill was ideological.
Yes.
So they're not taking any of it seriously. And I'm appalled that anybody in Congress or the Senate, anywhere, would be doing a victory lap for a raise in the debt ceiling.
Right.
I would have to, if I were that person and I made this deal, the first thing I'd do is hold my head down and say, this was ugly. If you wanted it to be a SHIT sandwich, that's what it needs to be. We don't need to be celebrating.
Now,
But anyway, I do have a couple more comments that we're going to read, and then we'll get off here. Joanna Hildreth, thank you for everything you do.
yes.
We can change things this Saturday by voting for the accountability rule at the GOP convention. So, man, I know we're going on just a little bit more, but can we explain this? Because everybody out here should know we're the big convention, the GOP convention this Saturday in Columbus.
Yes.
Ray, you're a delegate, so
Yes.
why don't we just fill everybody in real quick on the accountability rule? It's out there now.
On a short note, and just to make it short and sweet, basically what it does is it takes the power from the politician and it puts it back into our hands. And if somebody's running on a Republican platform that is a Democrat, see ya.
Mm-hmm.
It might be better for you to run on an independent ticket or a Democrat ticket, but you're not going to run here. So that's what it basically does. It puts the power back into our hands. And, and like I said, this state delegation is probably one of the most conservative delegations ever known to man. So there's going to be a lot of change happen within the GOP. And I do want to say, if you're a conservative and you love the county that you live in, get active in your GOP.
Yep.
Because you can't make any changes in government. You can make some, but you can't make any changes without the GOP being a part of it. Because with this accountability rule, like I said, this will put the power back in our hands and not theirs. So we'll be able to make better decisions on who runs and who don't. And if that's not correct, if there's something else that Joanna wants to kind of add to that, she can post in the comments. I mean, there's a whole long laundry list of things that's going to happen with that, but that's the gist of it, and I'm all for it.
And we need these younger 20-somethings to come forward. I know a lot of them are kind of shy and they don't know where to begin, but if this is that, I know my demographics touch on the very end of the 20s, people in their 20s, but if you're in that mid 20s to late 20s range, like the GOP, your local GOP needs you. A
Yes.
lot of these people in leadership, they are getting older to the point where it's difficult for them to be doing everything. And a lot of these GOPs are not up to date with the newer tech. They don't, most of them don't even have Facebook pages, something that simple. And they need these people that understand social media and other ways to reach out and get to this younger generation that, I guarantee you a lot of these Gen Zers and people that are coming of age right now are probably sick of the pride and everything else being shoved down their throats. They just want to live and be teenagers, but now they're being told that they need to get with the same sex and everything to be hip and cool. And you need to provide that outlet for them, because that's going to bring more people to your cause, and you can show them the truth and say, hey, it doesn't have to be like this. And guess what? 10 years ago, it wasn't like this.
Right.
This is just this Marxist, as Ray put it, a Marxist construct just to keep us divided.
Sure.
And it alienates those people that truly are gay, that truly are trans.
That's right.
It makes a mockery of them. I have no qualms and queries, against
they don't
them.
even see it. They're just being played just like the rest of us.
A lot of them do see it now, and the problem is it's bringing these fringe elements from both sides out to attack them, and they just, like us, they just want to live their life and be left alone too. And it's like, if you're not affecting me in my life, then that's fine. You do you. As long as you're not pushing it on my kids or anybody in my family or affecting another human being with it, you do you.
That's right. That's all we want. They want to paint us up as these, oh, you hate gay people. No. You do what you want. We love everybody. You do what you want in the confines of your freedoms, but you don't force it on anybody else. And you especially don't hurt animals or children.
Yeah.
That's that simple. They can't fight against that, so they turn around and call you every name in the book, just like the documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You burn the pride flag or flag, you go to jail, and then if you burn the American flag, you're fine. Everything's good. Let's see here.
The Great Awakening, folks. I'm telling you, you got to watch the documentary. It is fabulous. All right, listen, if you want to see more content like this, we're only going to get better when we're going to get more of these going. You need to share these links. You need to share them out to as many people as you can. Let's build up this channel. Let's build up more people so we can get the word out. So thank you to both of you for sticking with me and going through this. In all intents and purposes, it's worked out. But this was a fabulous conversation.
Yes,
And
sir.
I couldn't think of any two people better than you both. Okay.
Especially Tom.
Oh yeah. It's always
Thank you guys for the opportunity.
I haven't told him yet, but I'm gearing up towards a prep, live stream, and I want him to be right there with.
There you go.
But guys, I appreciate it again. We're gonna get off here. We'll see you on Wednesday evening. This coming Wednesday for the next live stream, and you guys have a good evening. Thank you for watching.
You too. Take care.